So if you are somebody who is looking online for ways to make money, here's a trap I want you to avoid because I myself have fallen into it. I am somebody who is curious and can't seem to help myself when it comes to something that I think I might be able to do to make money. And one of the things that I see online is people who are going to the Goodwills and they're getting tremendous amounts of clothes and they're reselling it on Poshmark or what's not, whatever. And I was like, oh, I can do that. I live in the Bay Area. I've got lots of high-end stuff that I can resell and I'll make money and this will be great. And from what I'm seeing, these people online are like, oh, I made $150,000 last year just selling stuff online casually. But then I started thinking, because I'll tell you, I'm doing the Poshmark. I'm making like $4 per item. Is that the best use of my time? No. But it is information. It's a data point for me so that when I, am making decisions about how to spend my time, I know this is not a good return. But it comes to three metrics that are important when you are thinking about any business decision that you are making. And one is, what is the difference between, oh, I made $150,000 selling clothes versus I get to keep $150,000 in clothes. If these people are selling clothes and they're like, I made $150,000, that could be in sales before any of their actual costs. And so we always need to look at how much are we making per item or per service, and how much is it costing me to deliver that? Now, there's direct costs. I bought a pair of jeans. I resold that pair of jeans. That's my cost. You could also include if I had to buy shipping, maybe that's a direct cost. That's my profit margin. So when we hear people talk about margins, that's pretty much what we're talking about in the primary business activity that we are engaging in. How much do I get to keep from every transaction? Now, of course, there's a lot of additional costs. Like I got to direct to the post office. I've got mailers. I've got my camera equipment. Maybe I went and bought lighting. Maybe I am paying for advertising or ads. Those are all more indirect costs that are considered operating costs. So once we take those costs out, now we have our net income and our net income margin. So how much of our actual sales price do we actually get to take home after everything's said and done? And so if you are looking for a side hustle, or if you are starting a new business and you're really trying to decide if this is a good use of your time or, as successful as you think it might be, I want you to step back and ask yourself, when I'm making these sales, am I actually making money? I'll give you another example. I wrote a children's book that I was selling on Etsy, and I was so excited because I was like, oh my gosh, my profit margin on this is so big. So my sales price less my direct cost. But then I started thinking, oh, wait, there's Etsy transaction fees, there's Etsy listing fees, there's this fee, there's that fee, and then I'm like, okay, so this isn't as profitable as I thought it was. I was very excited. And somebody who, as I started my business, was so focused on revenue and just continuing to grow revenue. But what I found as I got to a certain point, the more revenue I made, the less net income I had. So even though I was making more money, I was bringing more money into the business. I personally, as the owner and primary revenue generator, was bringing home less because I had taken on so much overhead. So business owners, don't forget to really be honest with yourself when you're looking at your costs to see if what you're doing is really making you the money that you think it is. Also, a lot of times taxes come after the fact and they don't really get factored in until you're trying to find the cash to pay those taxes. So, profit margin. Your sales minus your direct costs, net income, what you actually get to take home at the end of the day when it's all said and done. Hope this was helpful. If you are a side hustle queen like me, subscribe. I want to hear your stories. I want to know what you have found to be successful. And yeah, let's get it, girl.